Hey, Math 10 class, Mr. Lum again. And today we're going to be continuing our finance unit and talking about deductions and net pay. So we're going to be breaking this section in because it's quite a big section. So we're going to be just talking about a couple of different things today. So first off, we talked a little bit about this last time. What is net pay? So remember, you can find these particular notes on Microsoft Teams, and you can follow along there. Anyways, so the first off is, what is net pay? It is the amount paid to an employee after deductions have been made. Okay. Now, what are these deductions? There's a whole bunch of different things for deductions. Anyways, so taxable income is the income on which um, uh, you earn and you have to pay taxes on, and um, uh, yeah. Anyways, um, now we're gonna be kind of skipping over a few little things here. We'll kind of glaze over, and we'll come to them in future lessons. But the two things that we're going to focus on today is this CPP and EI. So first, what is CPP? And it stands for Canadian Pension Plan. And EI, what does it stand for? And it stands for Employment Insurance. Okay. So what is Pension Plan? So what is it for? That means if you are working for a while, and when you turn maybe 60 or 65 years old and you stop working, the Canadian government will start paying you a certain amount of money. And that is based on how many years you've been putting in and how much money you've been contributing to your Canadian pension plan. So if you are working in Canada, you are contributing to your Canadian pension plan. And so it is for, so what is this for? It is so you can, after you retire, so after you retire, and some people retire at 55 and some people retire at 60 or 65 years old. So after you retire, they will continue to give you money. Now, and the reason why you still get money is because when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, you are giving them money, and then you can start collecting it back in the future. Now, what does EI stand for? Well, EI stands for employment insurance, and that's a little bit different. So if you lose your job, the government does not want you to become bankrupt. They don't want you to not be able to make a mortgage payment, or they won't, you won't be able to get food or pay your rent or whatever. So if you lose your job, the government will give you money to make sure that you can have a little bit of time where you're collecting money so that you can find a new job. And it's called employment insurance. So if you lose your job, government will give you money until you get a new job. Okay. They won't give you money indefinitely. They won't give you money forever until you find a new job. So if it takes you like 10 years to find a new job, they won't give you money all the way up until then. But they'll give you money for a certain amount of time until you get back onto your feet and you have another job, just so you don't essentially lose your house or you're not able to feed yourself or whatever. Okay. So that's employment insurance. And you have to pay into it. It's deducted from your wage. You must pay into EI. And if you do lose your job. Now, when it says if you lose your job, that means if you get laid off, or that means, say, if the business that you were working for went out of business and you lost your job through that way. If you got fired because you were a bad employee and you did something wrong at work, you are not eligible for employment insurance. Or if you didn't like your job and you quit, you are not eligible for employment insurance. It's for people that lose their job that weren't planning on losing their job. Okay, and it was no fault of their own. Okay. So that's what employment insurance is for. Now, these are all part of deductions. CPP is a deduction. EI is a deduction. Yeah. Now, some people have other types of deductions, like union dues is another type of a deduction. Some people are part of a union. Not everyone's part of a union, but many people are part of a union. And if you're part of that union, many unions will have their own pensions on top of the Canadian pension program, and you'll have to pay into those. So a union just kind of makes sure to is like everybody that works with you will probably be part of the same union, most likely if they have the same job as you, and you'll have to pay certain amounts of money, and then they'll take that money and invest it, and then you can collect it when you retire, and that's essentially called a pension, and you don't have to pay into that. And there's lots of other types of deductions, and we're going to be talking about these things. So we've already talked about CPP, your Canadian Pension Plan, your employment insurance. You have to pay taxes. These taxes are federal taxes, and these other taxes are provincial taxes. Now, federal taxes and provincial taxes, this money goes for things to pay like provincial and federal employees. So the RCMP taxes need to go to pay those people. Hospitals to maintain the roads, all those kinds of taxes are collected to make sure that those things stay in working order. Okay. Next one is you might have to pay another deduction, life insurance. Okay. Or you might have extended health and dental. Not all of these have these ones, but yeah. Some people have union dues. We talked about that. And then there's other deductions that might take place called like professional fees. For example, teachers must pay a professional fee to maintain our teaching licenses. And that's every single year we have to pay that. Before I became a teacher, I used to be a registered professional biologist doing like biochem and stuff, and I had to pay a fee every year to maintain my professional status. Okay, and then you can have different types of pensions as well. So the two that we're going to be focusing on today are CPP and EI. Now, in Microsoft Teams, you should be able to find a C. Oh, I also did a little spelling thing. This should be CPP. Okay. So we're going to be focusing on these two things. Now, in Microsoft Teams, you should be able to find a form there that I'll attach, and there are EI tables and CPP tables. So I'm going to open these things up. Here is an example of your EI table. Okay, we know that this is the EI table because it says employment insurance right there, or in other words, EI. Okay. And then the other one that we have to look at is our CPP, our Canadian pension plans. Now, I downloaded these from the Canadian government website. Now, I'm just going to erase some of these notes right here. On the Canadian government website, you can download a ton of different tables. And some of these tables, I just downloaded the bi-weekly tables. So in other words, if you remember a previous lesson, you can get paid bi-weekly, semi-monthly, and you can these tables will be based on, these numbers are being based on being paid once every 2 weeks. You can get ones that are based on a 24 pay period. You can get ones that are based on a 52 pay period, getting paid weekly. So there's a whole bunch of different tables. I only downloaded the bi-weekly tables. Okay, so here are our two bi-weeklies, EI, and we have CPP. Okay, so we're going to learn how to use these tables. So when it comes to federal tax and BC tax, we're going to save those for future lessons because there are some calculations in there and they're a little bit difficult. So first off, the first one says, use the tables provided to determine the following deductions for Sunny, who earns a gross pay of $407.52 per week. Okay, this number is really important. So this is per week. Now, if you look at our tables, and we're going to start off with the CPP tables, this is bi-weekly. So that means every 2 weeks. So first off, we're going to figure out what is their pay bi-weekly. So you'll always need to convert to make sure that you're in the same kind of calculation as our table. So our table says bi-weekly, so we need to make sure that we are dealing with bi-weekly. So I'm going to go 407.52. That's how much they earn every week. So every 2 weeks, I'm going to multiply this by 2. And so every 2 weeks, they earn $815.04. So their bi-weekly earnings is $815.04. Okay. Now, so we're going to open up this table right here. So we're CPP, we're looking for $815.04. So if these numbers are huge, and now if you look right here, this is the amount of money that is paid. So here, if they're between $162.76 to $162.94, they have a certain CPP they need to pay. Now we're looking for between $815.04. So these are all just $100 to $200 kind of thing. So we need to go through this table. As you can see, this form is really, really, really big. It's many, many, many pages long. And then we're going to go all the way down here, and then we're going to zoom in. Okay. And again, I have this on my calculator saved still. We're looking at for $815.04. And what we find right here is this is our bracket that we're paying in. So $815.04 is between $814.91 and $815.10. So the amount of CPP this person pays is $34.70 every 2 weeks. So $34.70. So how much CPP they pay? $34.70. Okay. So that's how much they pay in CPP every 2 weeks. Now we need to figure out how much they pay in EI. So again, we're going to open up this. We're on the CPP one. So we're going to go to the EI one. And so we're still looking for that 815. And again, this table is just as big. So we're looking for that 815 to 815.04. So I kind of passed it there, and we're looking at, there we are. So here it is. So 814.51. So 815.04, $815.04 is between these two numbers right here. So they're going to be paying $13.20. Okay. So we're going to write $13.20. Okay. And we're going to save the federal tax and BC tax for next time. So here's another question. Morgan's gross pay is $412.78. Again, we're on that bi-weekly kind of thing. So we're going to find out how much they make bi-weekly. Hopefully you should be putting the video on pause and trying to do this here. So 412.78 times 2 equals, and we get 825 and 56 cents. Now, I'm going to just kind of do it a little bit like this. And we're going to pull this one up and bring this one like so. Oops. There we go. Okay, a little bit better. Okay, so I have the EI form open, and so let's look that one up right now since we're right here. So we're looking for 825.56 and 825.56. So it looks like we're in between these numbers right here. So it looks like they're paying $13.37. So that's their EI that they must pay every 2 weeks, is $13.37. Let's open up our CPP. And so we're 825 again. So let's go down. We find 825. We have to go 56. So 825. Here's 825.50. So it's in between there. So $35.24. So $35.24. Okay. And so that is how much they're deducted for their CPP and their EI. And remember, that's not for the year or anything. That's every 2 weeks they have to pay this amount of money for their CPP and their EI. Okay. An employee has a weekly income of this number. And what are their total deductions? So again, same thing. We should get used to this, is 416.15. This is weekly income. We want to find bi-weekly. So we're going to multiply that number by 2. And we get 832.30. We're on the CPP sheet right now, so we're going to look up 832.30. So 832.30. There it is right there. So $35.58. We're going to go to the EI to figure out how much EI they need to pay. So 832. 832 and 30. So looks like that one right there. So $13.48. And so therefore we're not going to bother doing the federal tax and the other one as well. Okay. Now we have a slightly different question right here, and it says Jean-Claude's gross pay is $410 weekly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go 410.12 times 2. And so their total pay is $820 every 2 weeks. 24 cents. His deductions are 23%. What is deducted from his pay? So first off, I'm just going to calculate the CPP and the EI. So we have 820 right here and 24 cents. So I have 820 and 24 cents. So we have the EI one right here. So it looks like it's 1329. CPP one, 820. $8.20 and 24 cents. So that looks like it's this one right here. So $34.97. Okay. So his deductions are 23%. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take 23% of this number right here. So I'm going to times this. And remember, we need to convert this into decimal form. So 0.23. If you can't remember how to do it, just go 23 and just divide it by 100. And that converts it to decimal form. So we're going to times this by 0.23. So that's the deductions that are made. Okay, so I'm going to go times by 0.23, and I get this is equal to what is the amount deducted from his pay, and so that will be $188, and it says 6552, or in other words, that's going to be 66 cents. And so this is what is deducted. Now, this $34 and this $13 is part of this. So the rest is taxes. These two numbers don't add up to 188, but if we added up all four of these numbers, it would add up to $188.66. Okay? But that's the total amount of deductions. Okay, now we need to figure out CPP and EI for this person right here. This person works 40 hours per week and they get a wage of $9.30 an hour. It's a little bit back in time. So, and she's assigned claim code 1. Now we're not going to do this claim code stuff, so we're going to ignore this stuff right here. But first off, we're going to figure out how much does she earn a week. So right now, this is full-time. We're going to assume that she's not working any daily overtime. We don't know that, but we're going to assume it. It sounds like she's not working any daily overtime because it doesn't mention it. So we're going to find out how much she earns per week. So we're going to go $9.30 times 40 hours. So I go 9.3 times 40, and I get 372. Okay. Now that's per week. I want to find out what it is bi-weekly because my CPP and my EI tables are bi-weekly. So I'm going to times this by 2. And so that's $744 that she makes bi-weekly. Okay, so that is her earnings, gross earnings. So now what we're going to do is we are currently on the CPP sheet. So I'm going to go all the way up to 744. So I'm going up to 744, and here it is right here. So $744.00. So that number right here is looking about right there. So the CPP she pays is $31.08. Okay. The EI she pays, again, we're at 744. So we're going to look over. We find 744 is right in between these two numbers. And so that's $12.05. $12.05. And that's what they pay. Okay. So again, you have to get it to this. You can download weekly CPP and EI charts like this one right here, but we're only going to use the bi-weekly one. Now, next one right here, it says something a little bit different. John's group life insurance is 1.5% of his salary of $450 every 2 weeks. How much does he pay for this? So we have to take his life insurance, his total gross earnings, so 450, and we multiply it by that 1.5%. Again, needs to be converted into that decimal form. So if you don't know how to do it, take 1.5 and divide by 100. So it's not 0.15, it's 0.015. Okay. And then we'll get how much he pays for his life insurance. So 450 times 0.015 equals, and we get $6.75. So every 2 weeks, for his group life insurance, he pays $6.75 every 2 weeks. Last question. Jennifer had a gross income of $785. Okay. Her net income was $625.42. What percentage of her gross pay was deductions? Okay. So this one's a little bit trickier. So the first thing I'm going to say is that we want to find out how much deductions were. So deductions are the difference between, I'm just going to make this big. Deductions are the difference between gross pay and net pay. Okay, so first off, we're going to figure out what was the actual number for the deductions. So what that means is deductions are the difference. That means you need to subtract the two. So first I'm going to take gross pay. So gross pay is $785. And I'm going to take net pay. So net pay is $625.42. And I'm going to subtract them. So I go 785 minus 625.42, and I get, so the deductions are 159.58. So these are the deductions. Now, the question doesn't ask what are the deductions. It asks what is the percentage. So now what we're going to do is just like on if you had a math test and you got 7 out of 8 and you need to convert that into a percent, you go 7 divided by 8 and figure out the percentage. So we're going to figure out the percentage of the deductions. So we're going to go 159, because this is the total amount of deductions over the total amount earned. So divided by 785. And then to put it into a percentage term, you go times 100%. So 159.58 divided by 785 equals times 100 equals, and so we get the number 20.32866. Okay, or in other words, I just kind of want to have like maybe one decimal place, so I'm going to go 20.3%. So their total amount of deductions is 20.3%. Now that's not just CPP and EI. That's could be CPP, EI will definitely be in there, but it'll also be her federal income tax, her provincial income tax. She might be paying some union dues in there. She might be paying some extended health or something like that. So all of that added up, all the deductions added up, it is 20.3%. Okay. Before you rate your quiz, if you don't understand it, please message me through Microsoft Teams, and hopefully I can help you out. And if you have tried doing some of these things yourself, and if you don't understand something, let me know. Ask some friends, and then try doing that quiz. And the next time we'll talk about provincial taxes and federal taxes.